Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11, we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
All right. It is Lions Talk of Smoke with Jeremy B. How's everybody doing today? There's not much out there because we haven't practiced yet. We practiced today, so I'm waiting to see what the injury report is from that. So the only news out there is stuff about other teams right now. The signing of cornerback Shamar Bartholomew to the practice squad. We did waive offensive lineman Jack Conley from the Lions and signed tight end Anthony Firkser to the practice squad, a tight end. So that's basically all the news that the Lions have right now. Jair Alexander quit. He retired, and it's mental health. This is Men's Mental Health Month. If you are struggling, if you are dealing with grief, depression, anything mental, please call or text 988.
Low
You
battery.
are not alone.
Please charge.
Evidently, that's the only time you're going to hear that today because the thing's dead. But that being said, we are live into Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter today. The Huddle Sports app is now working. Glad to see 9 of you are watching today. We got 7 on X and 2 on the Huddle Sports Network. It is kind of an ask the host day because there's not much out there. Brian Dable was let go yesterday. Is he scapegoated? Because they kept Joe Shine. I think that's a sign that Mara is an idiot. Hello, Fred. Good to see you, brother. We are 1.5 point underdogs this weekend. Very rarely do the Lions lose when they're underdogs on the road. It's also having a warming trend. It's already warmer today than it was yesterday. It's supposed to be in the 50s this weekend. They already announced Jameis Winston is starting. That came out today. Russell Wilson is not starting. Crab Legs is. What's shaking? Yeah, Crab Legs is starting for the Giants. Yeah, I think that was AI. I don't know. Because there's no 00 on our roster. The only thing I will say, and I'm not going to mention his name because it's too polarizing for a lot of fans. That was the first time a president attended a regular season game in over 40 years. In that celebration, Amon-Ra said, I didn't do it because it was him. I did it because it was the president. If any president did a dance at their inauguration, I would have used it as the celebration if they were in attendance. Great, politically correct answer by Amon-Ra Brown. St. Brown is godsend. I don't care what anybody says. And I think they made it a point, Dan Campbell did, to utilize the other players that had been ignored all season more. I mean, Gibbs, we know he's going to get his on the ground. But we also used him in the passing game. We targeted Jamison Williams more, got him more involved in the game. Look what happened. catches, 119 yards, and a tutty. Amon-Ra had 5 catches for 58. Laporta had 5 catches for 53. We had 5 different receivers with 50-plus yards in the game. I think that's an amazing stat. Even Tesla got in the catch action, which I think he needs to be utilized more. And with the concussion that's going on, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was ready. It wasn't ready when I set up the show earlier. Because it wasn't in the drop down. And by the time I got back here, it was time to go live. Oh, so I'm sorry. I woke up early. That's my fault. God, I hate this. There. No, I did not. I haven't looked at that. I'll be doing that stuff later tonight for the NFL Roundtable talk. Tell you what I did see that I thought was interesting. See if it's in there now. I got to add a few things. Here. So last year, Saquon Barkley was an MVP front runner with his great season he had. This is what's going on as of 10 weeks right now. 4.4 yards per touch, 779 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 5.8 yards per touch, 920 yards, and 10 touchdowns so far this season. According to PFF, Jack Campbell leads all linebackers with an elite 91.8 run defense grade. He's also the only linebacker to rank in the top 10, in the top 15 in run defense and pass rushing coverage grade so far this season. And have you lost back-to-back games since October 2022? No, we're the Detroit Lions. Yes, of course, that was over 3 years ago. Is every team in the NFL, and you can now add Green Bay to that list. Because look, they're not in there. They should have had the Packers over here too, but not anymore because they just did. Oh, there they are. I found them. Back-to-back weeks. No pressures, no sacks, no quarterback hits for Micah Parsons. This is not good. This is not good. We discussed this as soon as the trade happened. And I said, let's see what happens in November and December because he tends to fall apart right around Thanksgiving. His pressure rate dropped. He could, but I think Jonathan Taylor's ahead of him. Just saying, Jonathan Taylor's been a different animal this year. He's a bigger reason they're winning than Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones hasn't hurt them that often, with the exception of last week versus the Steelers. He was awful. The last time the Lions lost back-to-back games was 1,106 days ago in 2022 when we lost to the Cowboys and then lost to Miami. But that was after we went 1-7 that year, and then went 8-1 down the stretch. With our only loss during that that run was Carolina. That awful game, couldn't stop their run, couldn't do anything. We even started to come back in that game, but it was way too late. Both of those games were at home. Panthers in their house, and then the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm on rousing concussion protocol, which means that if he's not cleared by Thursday or Friday, we're going to have to see more out of Isaac Tesla. We're going to have to utilize him more. This could be a huge blow, guys. I think the earliest they can test him is tomorrow. Carry-on Arnold's also in there too. And maybe it was just Carry-on Arnold. I'm not sure. I got to double check. But I heard a couple players were in concussion protocol. Somebody said it was Amon-Ra. But I got to check my sources. So don't quote me on that. We're a 1.5 point underdog according to everything. What do you guys think of that stuff so far? I know Carry-on Arnold is. That was verified. That's my favorite pick in fantasy football, driving to the top production. Yes, I hear you. Thank you for tuning in. I see it on screen, but I don't see it in my feed. So that's great. That means at least I can see it on the live. I have to make that print bigger so I can see it. There we go. Yeah, Tesla. Add the extra A. It's a Slavic name. Exactly. And also, you got to look at the uncharacteristic drops over the last 4 weeks by St. Brown. I think when he injured his wrist in week 5, it's bigger than we think. That's 3 straight games he's had uncharacteristic drops of passes that hit him in the hands. Maybe he's compensating. It's a It's just weird that how he went from rarely dropping to dropping 2 passes a game over the past few weeks. The teams that had the most drops the last week was the Bears and the Packers. The Bears overcame it. The Packers did not. But the disappearance of 2 weeks in a row with 0 pressures, 0 sacks, and 0 QB hits for Micah Parsons might be a huge part of this. Weird. Last year they were 6-3 at this time. This year they're 5-3-1. Last year the Dallas Cowboys were 3-6. This year they're 3-5-1. So one team has a worse record than that this time, and the other one has a half game better. Half game worse, half game better. In the 2 losses in the row, and I granted. Oh, and the take on Gibbs before I was interrupted. Yes, he is. He's becoming a number 1 back in this league, and it's not even close. I mean, look what he's doing here. The only guy ahead of him, probably in best running back in the league right now, is probably the one and only Jonathan Taylor for the Indianapolis Colts. 920 yards and 10 touchdowns, 5.8 yards per touch, 4.4. That's a 1.4 difference. You know who averages about 4.3, 4.4 yards per year or per touch? That's David Montgomery usually. Saquon Barkley, now that he's getting older, is not regressing, but not getting as much. He's not doing as much. And I don't know if it's the play calling of the new offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's a change in the scheme, but they're not running the ball as much as they used to with him. And that's kind of odd with how great he ran last year. Are they keeping him healthy by not overworking him? That's what I'm wondering. I just think that was, yeah, there we go. Philly with the new coordinator seems to be issues. I agree. I agree it's an issue. Yeah, I mean, 1.4 yards per touch, better than Saquon Barkley this year. Uh, you think our line is actually protecting better for Gibbs? Is that what you're saying? I think Gibbs is having a better season than he had last year, is what I'm saying. He's over halfway past his total production from last season. Last season, he had 1,000 yards and 500 yards receiving for a total of 1,500. He's at 1,920 after 9 games. He's well past that. He's also at 24 years old. And their O line hasn't changed since last year. They still got Lane Johnson. They still got Melita. They still got wow. It's amazing the people they still have on their O line. That's what I'm saying. The Philly O line isn't reworked that much. I think they had a guard go down for 2 games, but he's been back. They're not play calling the same. They're not even utilizing Saquon Barkley the same from what I've seen. And here we are, a little over halfway through the season with 9 games played. That's the 5 people in the NFL history that has 40-plus touchdowns. Barry Sanders, number 1 at 47. Randy Moss and Emmitt Smith at 43. Jim Brown at 42 and Jahmyr Gibbs at 41. He could end up surpassing Barry by the end of the season if he keeps up his average. His average is 1.4 touchdowns per game with 8 games left. That's huge. And yes, Paul Tagliabue, rest in peace. He died this weekend on Sunday morning. It kind of got swept under the rug because everybody was more focused on Donald Trump being at the game, whether it was left or right. I don't care. It was a big deal because it's the first time in 40 years. And a friend of mine that was at the game said that the Commanders' booth staff actually pumped booze through the speakers because the game was out of hand and people were out in the concession getting their last beers before the fourth quarter when he went to the booth. They pumped booze through the speakers. It's amazing right now. Right now, you've got the guy who's played every game is Sewell. Gibbs with his production. Amon Ra's been elite too. There's quite a few. If for me on the defensive side, you have to have it a toss up between Jack Campbell and Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson because of the sack, Jack Campbell because of overall. I mean, highest pressure rate in the league right now is Aiden Hutchinson. Not pressure win rate, pressures. That stat alone. And that's weird because he's not leading the league in sacks. That's Nick Bonito of the Broncos. And that team has been elite at getting to the quarterback, and that's why they're winning games. I think Sean Payton needs to take the coin that has Josh Rosen on one side and Josh Allen on the other away. Yes, he has. I'll put that up again. Jack Campbell leads all linebackers with an elite 91.8 run defense grade. He's also the only linebacker to rank top 15 in run defense, pass rushing coverage grade. The only linebacker. He's quietly becoming the best linebacker in the league, and nobody's talking about it outside of Detroit. This game is going to be dependent on the ground game. Okay, Adam, it was good to see you. It has been an amazing time here as Lions fans for us the past 3 seasons. And our 4th season of being good. I'm not saying we're elite. I'm not saying we're great. I'm saying we are a good team. We are a contender. But thanks for popping in, possibly on your lunch break or whatever there, Adam. We appreciate you. I appreciate what you do there at Driving to the Top. I'm going to be taking more charge of my show. I'm not letting other people that are guests tell the other guests to be quiet or anything else. I am taking control of my show. I will not let you talk over people. You will wait your turn. You will be called upon. I'm done. I am tired of the crap crap show that when somebody's giving a take and they take a breath and somebody automatically pipes in. A little dead space is fine. There has to be structure. I don't mind if people talk, but don't talk over someone. Don't just be loud to cut someone off. Opinions are meant to be valued, not ignored or disrespected. Even if somebody's take is wrong, it's there. It's time our country gets back to that. I can't remember a time when our country was so soft. I don't like it. It has to go. What's up? I was raised, if you don't like it, ignore it. It goes away. If you pay attention to it, it gives it substance. And somehow we forgot this. Somehow we drifted away from letting other people have their own opinion. If somebody said something offensive to you, that you don't like, we used to punch you in the mouth and then hug it out after. I got punched in the mouth enough times. I know. I wasn't always a nice guy, but I wasn't always a bad guy either. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Let them finish their take, not to interrupt, and then afterwards talk when they're finished. Absolutely. Thank you, Sled. Is that Mitchell, the Texans fan? Good win last week, by the way, upsetting the Jag. I said Gibbs was the better overall back over behind that draft on my draft show. I was told I was an idiot. I was told I was wrong. I thought so. All I saw was Sledge. I haven't seen you in around for a minute, brother. I hope you're doing well. I know you were dealing with some mental health issues. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I will say it again. The suicide awareness hotline is 988. Call or text if you're having issues, whether it's depression, grief, or just don't feel right and need someone to talk to. It's anonymous. It's free. You are not alone. Please use it. Um, what happened to Marshawn Nealon? It was more than just football. It was the anniversary of his mother's death. His best friend on the team was traded away. He felt alone, even though he had a girlfriend. There was a lot going on in that young man's life, and I can't say I know what was going on in his head because I don't know that. But there are ways to reach out. Suicide is not the. If you see somebody acting different, if they're more depressed, if they're crying, if they're sad, or if they just have a fake smile all the time and don't really say anything, they need help. Reach out to them, especially if it's a friend or loved one. I feel bad for that entire family. I see that. It's good to see real comments and real questions from you because that's the way I like my show ran. I like real comments. I like real questions. I like talking to real fans of football. Uh, let me see. I am 90 and 57. I realize I got another one wrong last week, so I'm fixing my record. 90 and 57 after week 11 or week 10. Excuse me. I went 9-4 in back-to-back weeks. I think that's pretty good, picking every game on the schedule. I don't care if it's straight up or against the spread. And in all actuality, I'm pretty much almost exactly the same against the spread, because a couple of those games I picked the wrong way, and I admit it. But I was at one point 4 games better against the spread than I was versus everything, because of the blowouts that happened. And last week was weird. A bunch of close games in prime time and a bunch of blowouts in between. It was so weird. I mean, 7-10, the Broncos win over the Raiders. 10-7, the Eagles win over the Packers. And both of those, that was Thursday night game and Monday night football. Two of the most premier games to have. I think the Thursday night football game is looking worse every year. I be in the Super Bowl. God, I think it would come down to like the Pat Eagles Rams. On the AFC side, I say the Broncos because of defense, Bills because of offense. Those are the three that I have on the other side. If it ended, and because the Chiefs aren't even in the playoffs, so you can't throw them in there at 5-4. On the other side, in the NFC, Eagles, Rams, Lions, maybe the outside shot at the Seahawks. Any one of those four to go. But I think the other three is just because of the defense of the Broncos, the way they're playing and their sack rate and their turnovers are doing great. That defense is why they're winning games, not the offense. Because, like I said, Bo Nix this year seems to have a coin that says one side Josh Allen and one side Josh Rosen, and you don't know which quarterback you're getting. And that's the sophomore slump. Good quarterbacks their rookie year tend to slump in second year. It's how they respond their third year that you have to judge them on. CJ Stroud, I feel sorry for him being out like he is. I don't think Davis Mills is the answer, but that defense is keeping him in games and keeping games close. And as long as that defense can do that, he gives you a shot to win, because he's not awful. He's just not good. He's mediocre. Yes, I did, and I agree with him. Thursday night football is awful. The short week should only happen on holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I agree with them. There's been more upsets. There's been more weird games. There's been low scoring averages on that. They've only had 6 games where more than 30 points is scored since Thursday night football started 2 seasons ago. Think about that. And the first Thursday night football game, I believe, was Detroit versus the Chiefs in week 1 2 years ago, when we won 21-20. It was a great game, but it was just a weird game. Yep. I seen that. Like I said, he's not a good quarterback, but he's average. Well, when the NBA started it, we should have known that we should have known that the NFL was going to do it too. The NFL is more popular than the NBA. Kudos to the Pistons being in first place after a week and a half. I know, isn't it? Isn't it weird? PC payload. PC payload. Look at Gibbs versus Barkley this season. 920 total yards, 10 touchdowns, 770 yards, 779 yards, and 6 touchdowns. 5.8 yards per touch by Gibbs, 4.4 yards by Barkley. I'm not saying Gibbs is better than Barkley. I'm saying this season he's having better production than Barkley, and I think it's mostly due to their OC and the lack of consistency in their play calling. Oh, I know it's all about money. Um, Tagliabue, rest in peace, my man. 84 years young. He did a lot for this league, and the reason why the money got to where it is, he's the one that brought in all that stuff. Goodell come in, and he's just strengthening what he did as far as the money wise. I know. What did I say when we drafted him, PC? Because you asked me about him then, and I said I thought he was the best overall back in that draft, and he's proving it. I didn't say he was the best running back. I said he was the best overall back because of his receiving. He does run block ahead, and he does pass block from time to time. He's not great at it, but his change of direction skills, his elusiveness. I alluded to all of that on draft night. I said I loved the pick. Everybody was like, "We needed this and we needed that." I didn't care. I didn't care. Everybody says, "Well, this makes no sense because we just signed Monty." I said, "Monty's not a Gibbs, and Gibbs is not a Monty. They're somewhere. They're close. He's more speed, and the other one's more thunder, lightning and thunder, Sonic and Knuckles. That's why it is what it is." But David Montgomery's been working with Gibbs on his power, and his backstory is amazing. Did you know he was homeless through part of his high school and college career? The last time his mother did anything with him before anything happened was his signing day. That's an amazing story if you actually go back and hear it, uh, research it. Gibbs has humble background, come from an impoverished family, was homeless through his first 2 years of college until he got into the fraternity. He was taken in by his high school teacher. Amazing story. Yeah, and Jack Campbell's having a season right now. Look at that. Leads all linebackers with an elite 91.8 run defense grade. He's also the only linebacker to rank in the top 15 in run defense pass rushing coverage grade. I felt the same way. I love the Jack Campbell pick. We needed the guy in the middle. I said coming out of Iowa, he was Chris Spielman in another generation. Not a hybrid linebacker, an all-around linebacker, and he'll get better with time. This is year 3. Look at him. This is year 3 with Gibbs. The elite company he's in right now. Gibbs is wow. I mean, look at that. Barry Sanders, Randy Moss, Emmitt Smith, Jim Brown, and Jahmyr Gibbs are the only players with 40-plus touchdowns before the age of 24, and he'll surpass Barry more than likely this season. We are blessed as Lions fans to see what's going on. And it's all because of this man right here, the most interesting GM in football. But he can keep going. Word. So the reason why we didn't make those big moves everybody wanted is because we're going to have to resign those guys. Yes, over the next 5 seasons, we've spent $1 billion in extension, starting with the Goff, Panay Sewell, then Goff, then everything else. But that's total salaries over that time. Break it down. And it also depends on how the contracts break down. And so far, every single one of them don't look as bad as everybody thinks. They all have their years in year 3 or year 4 where restructures can be done to add void years and stretch it out. So I don't think we're losing anybody. I think we're going to stick with our guy. Laporta's coming on. Yeah, I saw that. That was a great play. Was that Chubb that made the block, or was it? Oh no, the rookie running back, Woody Marks. Gotcha. Another I wish that they'd utilize him more as RJ Harvey for the Broncos. He's coming into his own. He's looking good, but they don't utilize him correctly. One game he looks like a monster. The next game he's like non-existent because they don't go to him. It's weird. It's a weird thing going on with the Broncos. Jekyll and Hyde on offense. They're either great or awful. I think it's Alex Anzalone. I think he's the one that's going to either retire or he'll get another 1 year deal. I think Alex Anzalone's gone. I think we're keeping all of the draft picks that are expiring. I don't. It's super rare to have a draft class where the end of rookie contract and they almost all get resigned. That's why Brad isn't blowing his load in free agency. We still need help, but we're also getting healthy. Yes, Ahmad Hassanin. PC, you weren't on yesterday. Brad Holmes is playing chess. Update on Hassanin. He was listed on the NFL transaction report as an international player, meaning he doesn't count against the Lions' 16-man roster limit on the practice squad. The Lions get a waiver that allows him to be the 17th member of the practice squad. And that means if he's not on the practice squad, he can't be coached because he's the international player. That's basically like an extra man on both rosters. He can be activated any week and then sent down any week, and we don't have to worry about it. So we got Hassanin coming back. Pascal's coming back within a week. DJ Reed's supposed to be back by Thanksgiving or the week after. Yeah, Dobbins was always a question of when, not if he'll be hurt, because he gets hurt every season. And they got their bowling ball and legs, the guy that's slow and is 3 yards in a cloud of dust. He's Mike Allstott in a halfback body, Audrey Christine. The guy doesn't break big ones very often, but he's great in those short yardage situations. Harvey's more of a Chris Johnson guy where he runs on the outside. Gibbs is learning how to use his power properly. It's all about getting low and keeping his balance. I'm seeing him bounce off of more tacklers now. His juke step is amazing. Harvey will develop that with time. His vision isn't quite there yet. He sometimes runs into a defender he shouldn't with the space to be able to get around him. And that's basically the news for today. I will be covering more about Dable, the Jair Alexander thing, because he retired this week or at time off, whatever it is, to get his mind right. I think Jair's tired of getting forced by St. Brown and Company, myself, and he just wanted to avoid it. Cam Scadaboo truck stick Zadarius Smith into retirement. What is going on with the Eagles? Maybe they need to take a page out of our book. Remember what we did in 2022 that was unheard of? We were the first team to do it. We hired a mental therapist to our strength and conditioning staff. And that was after we signed Jamal Williams, I believe it was, when he joined the team. And we hired a mental therapist to be in our strength and conditioning room. I think that was getting ahead of all these mental health issues that we're seeing these young men face. Yeah, Rodriguez is supposed to be coming back this week. We'll find out with the injury report if he's a full participant or not. Wingo's coming back. Pascal's coming back. We're getting healthy at the right time. Instead of having people go to injury, we're getting people back from injury this season, late in the year. That's a huge difference from the year before. The year before, we didn't start getting injuries till week 7. I like talking actual football. I really do. It makes life good. Also, the Vikings signed Bartholomew from the Panthers practice squad today. So they added somebody. Let's face it, their secondary needs help. Well, I think that a lot of that had to do with how cold it was. Because remember, even Tom Brady talked about it. And granted, he cheated that year, but when it's cold like that, the footballs get harder. It's harder to catch. It's harder to run. It's harder to hold because it's stiff. And that means if anybody hits it just right, it's popping out. But yes, it was a boring game. Just as boring as the Thursday night football game was. 7-10, 10-7. Same difference. Cold does not. It changes the way the game is played. The good news is it's supposed to be in the 50s this weekend. So I expect a fun, good game on Sunday night football. I think Monday night we're going to see a toilet bowl. Because you got Dallas versus Las Vegas in Vegas. The one-star rating system versus one of the worst teams in the league right now. Jekyll and Hyde on how they use Genty. Geno Smith is awful. But thanks for watching, everybody. The Lions are back atop the NFC North. Imagine that. In a tie with the Bears, who are 0-2 in the division. In their next game in the division, I believe, is the Packers coming up. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to read it. There we go. Run defense with or without Tyleek Williams. With Williams, 105 yards, 3.4 yards per rush, 30% offensive run success rate. That's tied for first. 4.8 explosive run rate, tied for third. 32.7 run stuff rate is first. Without Williams in the defensive line, 106 runs, 4.7 yards per rush, 23rd. 42.5% offensive run success, 25th. 5.7 explosive run rate, tied for sixth. 8.9% run stuff rate, which is last in the league. So with them, we're first, and without them, we're last. So those people that said that we wasted a pick on Tyleek Williams doesn't know the advanced metrics of football. That's all I got to say about it. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a blessed day. And just remember, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. And if you're talking to the right person, it may save their life. God bless.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.